we never thought we'd be the veterans. We always thought we were the young up-and-comers. Do touring, which we essentially did for 10 years, it's at some point you just hit a big resistance factor and everything just starts to get, it's hard to find more positives, it's easier to find more negatives, it kind of weighs heavily, and then I think we just needed to just take a break and get into other things in our lives. We left it open-ended. We didn't make a clean break, and we didn't say we're not, or we didn't say I'll meet you back here in a year and we'll record. It was kind of left open-ended and just let to evolve. Diamonds everywhere, cross your heart and swear. It wasn't like John Lennon, with Sean. It's not like I lived in the Dakota and could just go off on music when I wanted to, and that people were dying to hear from us again. It really felt like, okay, it's a matter of really trying to adjust your identity of yourself and like the whole Buddhist nature of like, who am I and what do I do, and is the self ever, you can get really kind of existential about it. Like I did. I really said, well, do I need music in my life? Do I, can I just switch off and do something else? Or is that really who I am? And, I had a lot of hard time adjusting to it at that time. But once I got through it all, it was nice to have a child and just to be home and not touring. And I mean, we love to tour for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, it gets kind of tough. Waited for an answer, but I waited 25 years.
The kid family thing is so overwhelming, and it's an identity. It's such a huge, for me, it's such a giant part of my life that I have a hard time even sometimes thinking like, the music part comes easy, but the identifying myself as a musician or being part of the band anymore, and I think that's healthy. I think it's good. It's never been very unhealthy for us to be like, oh, we're musicians, we must make a record. But I think it's good to have something in your life that you identify with, that you love, that everything's going well with, and then have music as another thing.
Oh, I thought that was the music.
Yeah. I miss sort of, there's definitely like, when I see young bands or bands starting out, and I remember that feeling of like walking into a record store and having someone say like, oh, aren't you in a band? And like, that only is a short portion of your life, but it's that thing about identifying yourself as a musician from your whole life, never anyone saying that, and it's a really special feeling that only comes along once. Know that I'm older, 'cause I feel that everywhere.
Now we got back into it, and it's sort of a little cottage industry. It just sort of exists to keep us afloat and be a band and break even or whatever, and just make the art. It's an outlet more than a way to make a living or anything.